interested in things, but he doesn't fuck around with anything that has anything to do with him. And he doesn't post things. He does not show his life.
But he's got accounts.
Yeah.
He's got logins.
He's only got one, and he recently started it. It was for Instagram to let people know that HBO Max was using the Chappelle Show, and he was getting paid for it. Yeah. So, and that worked. So they pulled it off of Netflix, and they pulled it off of HBO Max now. And now
that's because you guys haven't paid Chappelle, as if I haven't. But it's like Twitter people are asking me. It's like that.
Because I was playing a club that Louis had played, week or something. It's like, what?
That's
do you think I own Levity Live in West Nyack, New York? Yeah. But I was just thinking, what talent like Chappelle can just say, pull this off, and they pull it off. I love that he just moved to Ohio out of the whole deal.
Well, he's been in Ohio for a long time.
As a Michigander, I'm like, wait, you can have a career in showbiz, and this is what's fascinating about what's happening right now. You guys can have a career in showbiz and not be in New York and LA?
Yeah. Well, he did it on purpose because he wants to be in a place where people are normal. He lives in a small town. He knows everybody at his grocery store. He knows everybody at the coffee shop. And he's like a normal resident of the community.
I love it. And he's taking a number, asking for sliced turkey breast, and someone's like, that's one of the greatest stand-up comics
ever lived. He lives right down the street. He lives in a farm.
Oh, it's great.
He's a fascinating character.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him. I love hanging out with him. He's just so fascinating.
Comics always say that, to know him and interact with him, and that's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's great. Yeah. He's always been great too. I met him when I was 19.
So did he not then get really well paid from the Chappelle Show? He must have.
No, he didn't. Well, he walked away from a big a big chunk of money, right? And the thing that he walked away for. I was dealing with the same people at Comedy Central at the time. So that's when Stanhope and I were doing the Man Show. And it was rough. Like there was a bunch of people that were not comedians and they were not creative, but they wanted to put all this creative input into the show, particularly because they had a chance to put their greasy little finger all over it because Adam and Jimmy had left, and then they're like, okay, now we're gonna mold this into what we want. Catch new episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience for free, only on Spotify. Watch back catalog JRE videos on Spotify, including clips.
Step 1, open BetMGM Sportsbook. Step 2,
story, because if this is true that there was this beautiful, young, flawed woman, that's very interesting to me. It's not a true story. There's a lot of people on the internet who think that it is a true story. It's based off a book, but chess sales are through the roof. You couldn't get a chessboard when that thing came out.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that hilarious? Like chess sales were going crazy, which chess is a beautiful sport. And much like long-form conversation we have here, long-form game.
Yeah.
I mean, months you could really play. They get into speed chess in that in that show, but you can play chess forever, man.
Yeah, I'm scared of chess. I'm terrible at chess, and I don't want to get good at it because I think it's something I would get absorbed. I remember there was a time where Howard Stern got obsessed with chess. He was taking chess lessons, and he was talking about it on the show. Yeah, and I remember thinking, oh, he's an obsessive. Like he eventually bailed and stopped doing it. But I've had problems with video games. I've had problems with pool. I used to play pool competitively, and I get real obsessed with games. And chess seems to be like the most intense of all intellectual games.
It's gonna trigger the shit out of your intellectual. What kind of billiards would you play? 9-ball?
Yeah, 9-ball, 10-ball, straight pool. I played a lot of all those games, but I played a lot of pool. A lot. I played a lot of tournaments. Yeah, to the point where I have a table in my old studio. Okay. I have a table at home. I collect pool cues. I have a bunch of pool cues.
Pool cues are fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
Especially when they unscrew and you take you up the fucking briefcase and
the color of money.
The color of money is
what's in the case? In here?
Yeah. Boom. That is such a good movie. My brother Todd got obsessed with pool, and we had a pool table in our basement, but it was like classic Midwest basement in that it wasn't fully unobstructed. So we had this like weight bearing pole right here. So if you ever had to go like in the middle, you had to do all this creative short stick. We sawed one down.
Yeah.
But Todd got really really into pool. My dad took us to the 9-ball championships one year down in like West Virginia, and like, you know, these guys are like excellent at pool. They'll run racks after racks, and it was like wild how the brain is not how my brain works. But my brother's brain would go like 1 ball there, 2 ball there. Is going to move it off here, and that's like geometry, chess. It's all like that.
Yeah, it is. And it's also finesse and touch
Yeah.
and feel.
Yeah.
And
great sounds.
Yeah.
Cool, huh?
It's also a sport that thrives on drugs.
Really? Like an Adderall type situation?
Yeah. Because they would gamble and they would play for hours, 15, 16 hours. The thing about pool is that they would play until someone quit. And so,
that was like the gentleman's rule?
You would never quit on somebody when you were ahead.
Right.
Like if you quit on someone when you're ahead, people would be mad at you.
Right.
And they didn't like if you play like for 2 hours and you won like $1,000 and you're like, we'll play again tomorrow. They'd be like, fuck you, stay. And people get mad at you. They would really get upset. And you would have a hard time getting a game because you'd be a guy.
So you have to wipe out your opponent until they say, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it's like to the death.
To the death.
Yeah, it's like amongst top players, unless there was an agreement. Like you could make an agreement.
Yeah.
You can make an agreement. We will play 2 sets. I'll play you 2 sets. Race to 20 for X amount of dollars per set. But we're gonna make an agreement right now of 2 sets.
Right.
That's rare though.
Right.
Most of the time they would post up and they would play until guys went broke. Like The Hustler.
Yeah.
The Hustler with Jackie Gleason and Paul Newman. That was the theme of the movie. Is that Paul Newman's winning for like 15, 16 hours.
Right.
And then Jackie Gleason has character, and Paul Newman is self-destructive, and eventually Jackie Gleason overcomes him. And
I don't know if I've ever seen The Hustler, but obviously that has helped Paul Newman get cast in Color of Money.
Oh,
that was like
sure.
For sure.
I mean, that was the
original
Color of Money.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was sure.
The Color of Money was the sequel.
Okay.
It was.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they were both written by I think Walter Tevis was the guy who wrote it. But I've read the books too. They're pretty similar. The character in the second movie is different. Like there's a lot of things in Color of Money that are different than made for Tom Cruise. But in The Hustler, Paul Newman retires because like he's retired from pool, and then he meets Tom Cruise many decades later.
I see.
So The Hustler takes place I think in I want to say 63, somewhere around then. That's when that movie came out. And so Color of Money is like 1984 or something like that.
I love Color of Money.
It's great. That made pool go through the roof. People started playing pool like crazy. And people in the pool world have always said they need a movie like The Color of Money.
Right.
And they like pool hall junkies, some people liked, but it never really had the same impact. It wasn't that good. It was okay. Like some people liked it, but they couldn't really play.
Right.
Like you could, if a person who plays pool, like I watch it would be very frustrating for me. Because like if you were watching someone play tennis,
dude, it fucking infuriates me. Any commercial with tennis, they're holding the racket wrong.
Yes.
It's like just get anyone that plays tennis to quickly advise you on the right grip. And now I'm like, but all I can focus on is that. And I believe Color of Money. I remember reading about it that they like locked Tom Cruise in a room for 3 months and taught him how to shoot because his grip.
Tom Cruise worked with Mike Siegel.
Okay.
And Mike Siegel is one of the greatest pool players that's ever lived.
Right.
Multiple time world champion, like literally one of the all time greats. I've had the opportunity to play Mike Siegel. I played him. I hung out with him. He's a great guy. And he was also left-handed, just like Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is left-handed.
Yeah, and he taught Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise looks like a guy who can play a little. Paul Newman in The Hustler does not really look like a guy who can play. He does a lot of goofy shit. Right. But Jackie Gleason could play. Jackie Gleason literally plays like a professional. You watch Jackie Gleason in The Hustler, like he spent a lot of time playing pool when he was a kid. Like, look, Jackie Gleason was a guy who drank and smoked, hung out in pool halls. He was a man's man. He was a wild dude. Yeah. And he could fucking play, like really play.
How did you get introduced to pool?
I hurt my ACL.
Okay.
I tore my ACL ligament and I couldn't work out for a while. And when I couldn't work out, me and my friend John, he was a comic as well, we started going to this pool hall in White Plains, New York. And I just stumbled upon one of the great pool halls in that area. Wow. That's one of the reasons why I moved to New Rochelle, because I could be close to White Plains. Because I was addicted to this pool.
People get fucking addicted to pool. Yeah. That's how my brother was, dude.
Game. What does it say? Yeah, the video game Doom got its name for the film. Yeah. The video game Doom got its name from Tom Cruise opening up that because they wanted.
Know that.
Yeah, because when he opened up the case and he goes in the case, he goes in here.
God. Doom. I remember that with his dumb accent.
Yes.
He was excellent in that film.
That's what John. Yeah, that's what they wanted to. John Carmack wanted to say to the video game world when they released Doom. What's in there? Doom.
Doom is in there.
Because this game is so crazy in comparison to everything else. Yeah, so that's where I came up with. That's where I came up with the name.
Yeah, it's something like the I forget the character's name, Queen's Gambit, but when she kind of lays in bed and looks up and watches the world, you kind of see like pool players look at the table that way. It goes here. And
but with pool, there's execution, right? The difference is you could miss a shot where you're in perfect position.
Sure.
Whereas with chess, you just move the thing. You don't have to think about your physical hand-eye coordination skills. So nerves don't play a factor as much in terms of your ability to move your body. So with pool, the thing that excited me about it was about controlling yourself under pressure. And you're literally applying a certain amount of pressure to a ball, and you want to control the revolutions that the ball makes over a long period. So it's all touch and feel. Yeah. And the more you play, the more, and you get in what they call dead punch or dead stroke, where you understand exactly how much impact and exactly how hard to touch that cue, exactly how much impact it has on the ball to just perfectly place that ball in position for the next shot.
It is. It's a great game. My brother had a book, How to Hustle Your Friends at Pool, and used to read it. And we'd have friends come over, and they would always get mad at his reading of the book, but he loved it. It's a great gambling sport. Yeah,
it's a game where people get mad if you pretend you're not good.
Right.
And it turns out you are good.
Yeah. But isn't that what the hustle is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
What's interesting about it is also a game where people lie about how good they are.
Right.
Like men always want to pretend they're really good at pool. It's a weird thing. Yeah. Like if guys don't know you play, like I play pretty good. Like I'm a B play, which means like I'm not a pro, but if I practiced for 6 months and really dedicated myself,
you'd be excellent.
I could run racks. Yeah. I've run out 3-4 racks in a row. I can play a little.
Yeah.
And if I played a lot, I could play on a very high level. But most people can't. Like I played for years, 8 hours a day. I played every day. Right. I always played. Right. I took a cue on the road with me everywhere I went. When I would go on the road and do gigs, I'd find pool halls and I played pool all night long. That's what I always did.
I'm not good at pool.
Like they tell you, like you say, do you play pool? Oh yeah. Are you good? Yeah, I'm pretty good. Like, oh, are you really? Like, how good are you? Oh, I'm good. I always beat my friends. Pretty good.
Nah, I'm not even pretty good at pool. I like playing pool. I know how to play pool. I understand the rules and dynamics of pool. I'm just not good at that shit yet. He taught me as much as I know about rolling and stopping and top spin and side spin and jumping and all that other shit, yo. Like I said, I never got good at that shit though. Still don't mind playing. I enjoy it. I'll play a couple of games of pool. You know what I'm saying? Just a couple because I'm not good at it, you know. And then if I'm playing somebody else who's not good and you're just sitting in there bouncing balls off the side of the table all night before somebody gets a fucking drop. My bad. Ain't mean to do that on camera, but that was a loogie for real. I couldn't swallow that shit. Ugh. But yeah. I know one of my neighbors had a pool table in their garage for years. And we did that shit a bunch over the summer. I say still never got good at that shit though. And then like somebody opened a pool hall up downtown in my city, you know, motherfuckers would pack that shit up all fucking day, all night, chilling at the fucking pool hall, yo.
You're like, are you really good? Like, have you ever played in tournaments? They'll lie, and then you play them, and they suck.
They suck. Golf is like this. What do you shoot? I shoot about 100. You go out there and you're like, you fucking lied, or you cheat. Everybody cheats at golf. Everybody gets so surprised when they ask me if I'm good at golf, and I say I'm okay, and they say, what do you shoot? And I say 110. They go, no, there's no chance. I get out there, and you really.
Bonjour, ça va bien? Good morning to all my friends out there in France. Where the fuck?
Bonjour à tout le beau peuple de France. Bonjour à tout le beau peuple de France.
See? Technology. Technology is our friend.
Count my strokes and the time I moved the ball and the time that it like followed the rules. Shot on 10. But everybody lies.
Is that a good number?
No. What's
a good number?
Par is 72. But I guarantee you he's going to say he shoots in the 90s. And when we go out there and we actually play, he's going to shoot like 125, like a typical.
No, it's not.
I would say that, yeah, but like 90-ish is probably a good number.
Yeah.
90 is a good number.
I could get there, but
you would need a lot of time.
You need some time.
Yeah.
And you don't cheat. But everybody lies. Yeah, it's fun. It's true. People lie. But dude, the worst, if you're a single guy trying to like pick up girls and you got to play pool with them and they're fucking like garbage. They beat you. They beat you.
If a girl beats you at pool, good luck getting laid.
All the early birds.
They want to fuck you if they can beat you at pool.
Everyone knows that.
It ain't even 6
Catch
o'clock in the
new
morning
episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience for free, only on Spotify. Watch back catalog JRE videos on Spotify, including.
Me and my girl was actually thinking about doing like a late night stream last night. But we went to fucking sleep though, because we'd be up this early in the morning. We're up like now, like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Like we already fucking been up for a minute. Took a shower, got some coffee, smoking. And ain't even 6 o'clock in the morning yet. But normally, like we're just up early, go to bed early, get up early. But last night was like we should do like a midnight stream or something, like 11:30 or midnight, and just to see if we can get a different audience from different time zones, because motherfuckers be up at different hours. I don't know. I like my early morning streams. I'm just an early bird. I've always been up early. I mean, the jobs that I've had throughout my life are always like construction jobs or factory jobs where you're up at the crack of dawn anyway. You know, you get up at 4:30 because you have to be to work at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I've always been like that, yo. Like the job I have now is pretty kind of laid back. I work like a 9 to 5, like literally. Well, I work from 8 to 4. But the job I had before this, I was in a factory for 5 years. And my shift started at 6 o'clock in the morning. I would work 12 hours a day, work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And so on a regular work day, I'm up once again at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning because I have to be to work at 6 o'clock. Well, I would try to get to work, 10 minutes before 6. So I'm at work at 5:50 in the morning already. And, working 12 hours, getting off at 6, by fucking 9 o'clock, I'm ready for bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bed like 9, 10 o'clock, and I still have basically that same schedule where I'm sleep like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm normally in the bed, and I'm up like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I got a whole folder full of new stuff right here, bro. So we're gonna be working on several paintings. I don't know. This year I've been really busy with commissions, which is great, But every commission painting I do is for someone else, and it's not adding to my personal art portfolio. But so I've actually, don't have any commissions going right now, so I'm just trying to hump as hard as I can on my own projects and paint some of my own shit. And with Cyberpunk 2077 coming out, in the last month, like that game really took up a lot of my time. I'm not gonna lie, yeah. But I already knew it was coming. I knew it. I'm still a big gamer. I love video games. I think it's a very unique art form. I don't think that I will ever stop playing video games. So when a game comes out that I'm really excited about and I'm really looking forward to playing, it does take away my studio time. I can't play video games if I'm in the studio. So haven't done a lot of paintings this year for myself because I was so busy with commissions. The Last of Us Part 2 came out this year. Cyberpunk 2077 came out this year. So I feel like done and get some shit on canvas. And so I've been working on a couple projects. You can see now the studio is back looking normal. We got, several paintings that I'm working on in different phases. A painting that's on the easel right now that I'm working on. So just trying to stay consistent and keep busy. So I'm a pothead. Most people know that. Most people have fetishes, whether it's mental fetishes or physical fetishes or whatever. One of my fetishes is juice. It's feet. I like women with manicured hands and pedicured feet. I don't know. I just find feet attractive. If you have pretty feet, a woman. So I've always been playing around with the idea of doing some fetish art. But once again, I never want my art to be gratuitous or pornographic or overly sexualized. Even when I do my new paintings, I try to make it as tasteful as possible. The human body is amazing. The human body is beautiful. The male and female body is fucking beautiful, yo. And we should appreciate that shit. And if you can show the body in an artistic manner, I think that's fucking awesome as shit. I love that shit. And so the same thing with my fetishes. I want to put different images out there, but not make it so over the top that you want to shield your eyes from it. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm seeing this shit. So I thought I'd do some of that. And then these next set of paintings I'm working on is nothing really deep. They're not gonna I think I finished the last two pieces from my reader series for a while. I actually need to read some more books. I ordered a book. It should be coming soon. But maybe when I read this next book, I may be able to implement that in my reader series. But for right now, I'm just doing some different cool stuff, just pretty images. Like I say, not too deep, not too dramatic, just beautiful pictures of beautiful people. So what we have here is these. So this is on an easel now. Yo, boss, you know I be in here, bro. You know it. Hey, just do whatever you good at. That's it. That's all I do. So what's on the easel right now is this image of two of my favorite world. So I just posted it in like not my feed, but like the stories that go away after 24 hours. And so I posted these images in the two major platforms, Facebook and Instagram, but it was just in the story feed, and just seeing how people would react to the image itself, and it was still kind of mostly confusion and like negative feedback. Some people just like trolling it for no reason, like, oh, who's gonna smoke that weed now, and like, why do you have weed on the floor, and oh, why didn't she have her toes done before you took the pictures, and so it's like, so what the fuck is this supposed to mean, and well, why is there weed in her toes, and it's just criticism, constructive criticism, and honest questions. But I got some likes from it with no comments, so some people just looked at it like, that's pretty cool. So I like it. So and that's the thing with art, like, and I don't know, like I've been sitting on this idea for a minute, and for the last longest, it's like I've taken the viewer into consideration. Like, how will the viewer perceive this imagery? But honestly, I don't care how the viewer perceives this imagery. Once again, I think it's cool. It's something. It's an idea that I've been sitting on for a minute. So I just like, fuck it. Let's do the weed and toes thing real quick. So that's the one angle of the weed feet toe jam. This is a different angle, and so we're gonna work on these two images. And then started this painting of a beautiful model, a community activist and social warrior for the people. We just did a fun little photo shoot one day. I like the shadows on her face here. I like how the railing has that foreshortening where it's real close to the camera, and then it fades back. It's fat, and then it fades back to, it looks like it's skinnier in the back. I love that effect. So we're gonna work on this image. Working on this image of one of my beautiful friends. She had a nice beach day. So we already got this one started. And we started this painting a while ago, before I started getting slammed with commissions. So now we're gonna finish this one up. Hell no, man. Don't even see. I be doing good, bro. I be doing so good. And then y'all motherfuckers gotta keep bringing that shit up. The simple fact that I don't have a PS5, just let it go, man. Just let it go, man. See, now I'm sad because I don't got no PS5. I wasn't even thinking about that shit, man. It's all good. I'll get a PS5 soon. When everybody else already played they shit the fuck out, I'll be one of the last motherfuckers. I don't care. I done played that shit. My cousin got one, man. I texted his ass yesterday. Man, you ready to sell me that shit, bro? You already had it for a little while, man. You know what it's like. Let me get that shit off you, bro. I give you $800 for that shit. Motherfucker keep telling me no. Son of a bitch. Let me come get the PlayStation, man. On Christmas, everybody open up their PlayStations and Xbox. Fuck all y'all, man. Fuck them kids. Man, if I was working normal, I say since my injury and shit, I've been on like disability and shit, yo. I don't make my regular pay, yo. It's like a percentage of my pay. If I was just working normal and like getting my regular paychecks, I would have, I'm gonna buy one of them fucking $1,200 Jones. Fuck that, yo. You got $1,200, you got the PlayStation for real? I'm coming out with cash and a gun, nigga. Cause I don't, you not robbing me, but I might not rob you. You know, it all depends on how I feel. I might just take that shit from your ass. I ain't really been wanting to do that shit neither. I don't want to pay the $1,200. That's why I keep thinking, like, if I was to do that shit, I'm bringing the pistol, man. You might get jacked. You know, if you a man, I might give you the $1,200 for that shit. But if you look like a little bitch ass motherfucker, you a pussy. Give me this shit. What? That's what the fuck I thought, nigga. Go cry, bitch. Trying to sell this shit for $1,200. Scalping. Who the fuck? Well, see, that's why I would put myself in that situation, because then the motherfucker might rob me. Or try to rob me for $1,200. Then I'm have to shoot a nigga. See, man. I have to tell the nigga, yo, meet me at the police station with the PlayStation. Meet me at the station with the station, nigga. I don't have to shoot you over this motherfucking console. That's how crazy this shit is, man. Huh? How crazy is that? You know? I'm thinking about robbing and shooting motherfuckers for video games. This is a crazy world, man. It's a crazy world, man. You know what I'm saying? Scenarios. This is just hypotheticals here. You know, that's why I haven't even, like I said, I don't even want to try these little transactions, man. I be in my feelings. You know what I'm saying? And see? That's why I don't even like talking about this shit, man. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. I have to take that shit, bro. You got 2? Yeah, meet me where? I got the bread. I'm gonna size you up, though. I'm coming with the money, but I'm gonna size you up. If I could take that shit, nigga. Brody, bitch. What? I'm Debo, nigga. What PlayStation? What PlayStation? That's what the fuck I thought, nigga. That's why I'm just waiting. I just wait, man, until the summertime or next spring, next fall, whenever, man. One of these seasons that's coming up, man, they might be enough around that you can, get one. I don't really want to go to the black market for this shit, man. Black market kind of dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Cause you snatch that shit from one of these scalpers, what they gonna do? Call the cops? How you got that shit? And then you trying to scalp? That's against the law too. In some states, yo, you can't do that shit. You can't buy something for like $400 and sell that shit for $1,300. That shit is illegal. Motherfuckers lock you up for shit like that. That's why I don't mind taking that shit. But let's see. Oh, what I'm working on? Just I need that to stay up. I seen that, yo. And that's what, my cousin, I said, this motherfucker just be fucking with me, bro. He said, just to torture you a bit more. Why you want to torture me, bro? The black PS5. Yo, you sent me a picture of this shit. Like, why are you even doing this to me, homie? Why are you hurting my feelings like that, bro? And I'm like, wow, really? 850, bro. You can get another one in a few months. You be on the PC anyway. He be on this damn computer. This motherfucker got like a goddamn $3,000 gaming PC, yo. That motherfucker be playing that shit all the damn time. I asked like, why you even got the fucking PlayStation, bro? You don't be on the damn PlayStation like that. Gaming computer, yo. That shit on some fucking, I don't know, man. Some Alienware, others, I don't know. And this bitch don't hardly even play the damn PlayStation, but won't sell me that shit.
Yes, baby. What do you want? Go get Travis. Don't mess with Travis. Don't mess with Travis. What you want?
It's all good though. I said I'll just wait, man. Right.
Goodness. Thank you for getting dog hair all over me. Thank you so much. Thank you. What? Alright, move. Sneezing and shaking and shit.
I'm sniffing my blunt, so.
She was like, let me get out of here. You tell him to pet you. Tell him to give you some love. Stop doing that to her. You know she don't like that.
Exactly. That's what she gonna sit somewhere else.
She's sitting right behind you.
Watch out. I gotta roll my seat back.
Tell him to give you a pet. She give me some love.
Shit, we already been at this point. I already took you out. I already rubbed your ears and shit.
You just shitty today because I just took her out too and she pooped.
Fucking big ass bone and all them snacks you had yesterday.
I was about to say.
No table food today.
Yeah, you gave her that bone after you gave her all that meat and she had some eggs. She had too much. Too much for your little belly.
Said that shit was tasty though.
Mm-hmm. Her eyes be bigger than her goddamn stomach. And your little ass be hurting. Watch out, mama smoking. Watch out.
I made some fucking turkey wings the other day. And she had a big ass fucking turkey bone in that shit, yeah. I let her have that shit. And then just a few days before that shit, we had some beef ribs and gave her a couple of them fucking bones. But I be trying to give her them hard ass bones like that to help keep the plaque and shit off her teeth, yo. When she, like that, some of that food, that should just be soft. She bite right through that shit. She needs something hard that gnaw on so that shit'll like clean her teeth and keep her fucking jaws stronger. Like she gets, cause she gotta bite. You gotta really bite them fucking bones. You know what I'm saying? Keep her fucking shit right.
Yeah, she already don't like hard shit as it is. She only likes soft toys, soft food.
That's why motherfuckers be having them pig ears and all that hard ass shit, yo. It helps their jaws stay nice and keep their fucking teeth clean by scraping on that hard shit, biting down on that shit, yo. Anything in particular y'all got planned for today? What it is? It's Tuesday.
The 29th.
I was supposed to go to physical therapy this morning, but I'm supposed to be there at 8:30. I'll probably call like at 7:30 and be like, I'm not coming yet. Cause my shit was on Fridays. I was going Friday mornings. But because of the holidays and shit, they had to switch me to Tuesdays. I don't know. I done got too used to my Friday routine. And then plus, like, I ain't gonna lie, yo, I'm at a point with my physical therapy where it's just like slowly just adding more weight to the exercise routines that they already taught me. The motherfucker ain't showing me nothing really new yet. or giving me any other shit, yo. Just do the same basic routines for the past couple weeks. Just doing more of it with more resistance and more weights. I can do that shit my damn self. I just know I still need to be careful on this shit. Really can't run. Still can't stand on my tippy toes. But once my doctor released me and I can go back to the gym, I'll just start doing like more leg shit, yo. Like shit that I've never done before, like sitting on the bicycle machine. Like I'll have to warm up like by doing the bicycle machine and walking on the treadmill a little bit before I can like do my regular exercises and shit. Oh, you happy Trump out of there, bro? Why? Why? Who told us what was in that COVID stimulus package? Did Biden and Kamala Harris step up and be like, yo, you see all this excessive spending in this package? No, they ain't step up and say what the fuck was in that shit. Trump stepped right the fuck up. He was like, yo, what is y'all doing? Y'all trying to give people $600, but y'all want to give Kuwait $85 million. You want to give Egypt $10 million. You want to give Israel so much fucking money. You want to do all this other shit. You want to give all this money to facilities for renovation and remodeling. These shits are closed down right now because of COVID. Like, what are you doing with this fucking money? It's like, it don't make no fucking sense. But then you want to give the American people $600 and still give it to individuals who don't need it. Like, her grandfather even said, like, I don't need the $600. You know what I'm saying? Give that shit to people who need it. If you're in a certain tax bracket, like, you shouldn't receive that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
my granddad definitely don't need it, and he really doesn't want it. My other aunt, she don't want it either. They're like, give it to somebody else.
And at the same time,
they'll get it though.
Yeah,
they'll get it though.
Damn right.
Before I do, before you do.
And at the same time, like he said that shit, yo. He stepped up and said that shit. He was like, look, I want to actually do like this contract with Black America, this platinum plan, and make have some kind of money set aside specifically for African Americans to utilize towards education, small businesses, and home ownership.
And even my granddad, who's almost 85 years old, said $600 ain't enough to do shit.
Exactly.
What is that about to do? That's gonna
like
pay
most
my
people,
car payment. That's
like most people rent is $800.
And
her car payment is like damn near $600.
And he lives in West Bumblefuck too, and he's an older man who's had his house for the past however many years. You know what I mean? So that's not taking into account somebody who lives in New York or California or even goddamn Maryland. I mean, a 1-bedroom apartment in Maryland is $1,000 before you even pay for any of your utilities or anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I feel like if you live in, like, I don't know, maybe Alabama or Georgia, that money might stretch. You might have some $600 rent if you live in Georgia, but South Carolina maybe.
Yeah, South Carolina. Like, well, this was back in the day. I'm pretty sure rent.
And that's why I understand. Like, it's not fair. But why can't y'all like do something like for the people that live in California? $600 in California is not the same as $600 in South Carolina is like $300 in California, because in California, like, the gas here might be like $2.38. The gas in Cali is $3 something. So how is that even fair? And this time, damn, I wish I had some fucking kids. Yo, they getting money for them kids. I'm like, God damn, as they should.
Yeah.
But
the first package was $1,200, and now so they're trying to chop that in half, and Trump is trying to like triple that shit. He was like, wait, y'all.
But that's the thing, yo. If all the rich people in the world just gave up a little bit of their money, and granted, yes, they shouldn't have to give their shit up, but if I was a millionaire and somebody came to me and said, hey, if you can donate $3,000 out of your millions of dollars, and each of y'all could do that, then we can have some money to put towards this other shit.
But that's the capitalistic nature of this country, yo. They said that 400 people have more wealth than 90% of the population of America. 400 people.
Because they're all connected. I mean, they're all fucking related or something, or somehow.
The 400 richest people in this country, they got more money than 90%. They, it's so weird when you think about that shit. Like how, and then out of that 400 people, there's a top 20 in that group who have it, and then out of that 20, there's a top 10 and a top 5, and then the number one richest motherfucker in this country. You know what I'm saying? And these motherfuckers are multi-billionaires. And for them, like you say, if these motherfuckers, that's what,
well, what's his name? Jeff Bezos? His ex-wife, like I said, donated all that money to Howard. But then I sat there and thought about it. Like, yes, people are still in school right now, but with everything that's going on right now, why are people donating to other things like that? Like, I mean, granted, it is a black school, so I'll give her that. Like, yeah, you donated to a black university, but it's just like, for all the motherfuckers and all this money that's just being sent all over the place instead of being sent to people or for programs or for just, you know what I mean, shit that's really directly going to affect us right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm talking about she spent I think $40 million or some shit. So it's like, I'm glad that she chose Howard over somewhere else, because she could have chose Harvard or some shit.
Yeah.
But it's just like, bro, if all them people use all them millions to really do some shit with that shit, we would be alright right now.
That 2%, I mean not 2%, but 2 cent tax. Who was that? Who was running on that shit, yo? The one old white lady, she was running for president, yo.
I wish Jamie.
Fuck, I can't think of her name now. But she had this proposal for a 2 cent tax, and she said, was it 500 million? If you make $500 million, that's all your money. You know what I'm saying? With just regular taxes or whatever, but $500 million, that's your money. She said every dollar you make over 500 million, you got to give 2 cents tax to, federal tax. And once again, those 400 people who own all the wealth in this country, if we took 2 cents off of every dollar they made over $500 million, yo, that should have resolved so many motherfucking issues yo, these motherfuckers, once again, they're multi-billionaires, yo.
And then if it was on a national level to where or a global level, I'll say, to where just everybody just started doing that. Like every city, every town, every state, every country, continent, whatever. Like if everybody just started doing that shit and just taking care of each other from within, I feel like it could work.
Yeah. But yeah, Trump, I don't know, I wish Trump would have had another 4 years, yo.
I can't even believe Trump didn't win, honestly.
But then me and my friend were talking last night of any kind of a legal way that he can stay in office or, suspend the transition. And I think if he issues martial law, technically under martial law, there can't be a change of presidents until the martial law order is lifted. So I mean, there are some things he could do to impose himself as a dictator, but I doubt if he's gonna do anything like that. Yeah, he's not going to forcefully keep himself in there. Or either the Supreme Court could have it. So,
he's not done. He's like, look, I'm gonna partner with this motherfucker before I get up out of here. I'm gonna do this and that. Uncle Donald can come to my cookout if he give me $2,000. Psych, I'm just playing. Look at you pouting.
Your Sports makes it incredibly easy to bet live during a game. But to make it even easier, we got Hall of Famer.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
If you look at the bill that was passed, I mean, I went over it last night, and there's a lot of weird shit in there. Like, why are we giving all this aid to foreign countries in this bill? Why is there a part of this aid bill that makes it a felony to illegally stream? Like, how does this happen? They sneak things into these fucking bills. These people are monsters. They really are. Like, this should have been a real clear-cut thing. Aid to people that have lost all their income because of this, and they need a stimulus. The fact that they added in a felony provision for people who stream movies and profit from them. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how is...
You're not going to hear me disagree. Look,
why is Pakistan getting money? Why is Israel getting... Did you see it, Jamie? It's bizarre. I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't understand how this got agreed to.
Well, what happens is the idea is this thing's going to pass anyway, so you help out your favorite lobbyist, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you sneak something in.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's clearly how
those
it
fucking people.
I mean, here's what I'll say, okay? This is why Tell Your Children actually matters in this debate. Okay. I wrote this book, and you can say...
That's the pot book for folks.
Yeah. You can say, like, this guy, like... He doesn't understand. A lot of people just like to get high and they can handle it. It shouldn't be criminal. And, you know, minorities bear the burden here. It's wrong. Let's legalize. Okay. Totally reasonable. And by the way, alcohol kills a whole lot of people. It's legal. It's advertised on TV. It's legal. The rules should be the same. I totally get that. Okay. If you read the book, it's about something else. It's about this is psychiatrically harmful to a lot of people and we're not talking about it.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's a downstream violence that comes from that sometimes that we're not talking about either. Okay.
Yes.
To me, those things, if you read the book with an open mind, are pretty factual and inarguable. It doesn't mean, by the way, that you can't then say cannabis should still be legal. You can read the book and agree with it and say, but you know what? It should still be legal for those other reasons. Fine. That is not the way the book was treated last year. Okay? It was, you hate black people, you don't understand science, you're cherry picking. Go to hell. Okay? So when I saw this happening this year with COVID, and I saw the New York Times where I used to work, and you know what? People can yell at me for saying I used to work there, but I worked there 10 years, and I was a really good reporter there, and I'm not going to back down from my credentials, as I am a good reporter.
Thomas, what up, bro?
You can say, you know what? Like, lockdowns are necessary, and we need to protect these old people. And you know what? We can't let the hospitals get overrun. But if I present evidence to you that's contrary, don't just shout at me that I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? It's not going to work. It didn't work with Tell Your Children, and it's not going to work this time. Okay? So, and what I recognized was that unfortunately, and it's sort of the elite levels of the media, you know, the Times, Washington Post, NPR, CNN, the groupthink is overwhelming.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming on cannabis, and it's overwhelming on all these woke progressive issues, and it's gotten much, much worse since I left the Times 10 years ago. And I don't know if I'm going to turn it around, okay? And it has terrible effects. Let me give you one example, okay? We should all want to know where this virus came from. I don't care whether you're Republican or Democrat, liberal, conservative. I don't care what country you live in. You should want to know if this is the result of a Chinese lab accident. And there's some evidence of that. We can talk about that later, okay? And you should at least want to know that there's been a complete independent investigation into this, okay? This thing has messed up the world in a mammoth way this year, okay? And at the least, we should want to know where it came from, if it did come from some kind of accident. I'm not saying the Chinese released it intentionally. I'm saying there might be evidence that there was an accident. Because if that happened, we better make sure it never, ever, ever happens again.
It's a very strange thing to me that people don't want to even investigate it. They don't want to look at it. And I think they're afraid of racism or something. There seems to be some sort of indication that there's a victim blaming thing. There's an aspect to it that also is anti-Trump.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's anti-Trump. Okay.
Yeah.
What happened in March was the progressive media. First of all, they were terrified because
they just put me in the group. Again,
and they all put their
names though.
And then once they realized they weren't all going to die, they realized that they could beat Donald Trump over the head with this, and he would lose each other. And they did. Why am I even in this fucking chat? I'm neither a Republican nor a Democrat.
What are you?
I'm an independent. Basically, basically, as I've said, my politics are that it's impossible to be too cynical. Just like you said with the bill that they just passed, it's impossible to be too cynical about the way these people behave. They behave terribly. Okay, but so why is it that the New York Times won't even write stories about the fact that there's real questions about where this virus came from? Forget the ventilators, forget the U.S. response, forget Donald Trump. We should be asking that question. The groupthink is so serious that basic questions don't get asked right now.
Well, we were criticized on the podcast because I had Brett Weinstein, who's an evolutionary biologist, who discussed all the reasons, scientific reasons, why there's evidence that indicates that this is not a virus that naturally occurs.
That's right.
And also, just by coincidence, there happens to be a level 4 lab in Wuhan.
That's right.
What are the odds?
Right.
Like, you would think that people would want to put those two together, but it was something from the beginning that this groupthink was established, that you are not to question that. And there was a whole article written about them promoting this dangerous conspiracy.
And then after that shit happened, there was this Dean Koontz book that talks about a lab where a virus came from in Wuhan. Oh, it was so funny. What was the name of that story, yo? Oh my god, it was so good though. Like the conspiracy just start flying off the shelves.
This came from a lab. It's been proven, but it hasn't been.
It has not been disproven at all.
No, it hasn't been disproven. There's never been a real solid proof of where this has come from.
That's right.
Here nor there.
That's right. And actually, you'd say the evidence is sort of going the other way now. I mean, in favor of this, and here's why. If this thing originally came from some animal, right? We know that there was a virus that was 96% similar to it that they had at that lab, okay? But we've never found the virus that's 99% similar in an animal, which is what we would expect to find, okay? That there'd be something really close that then made the jump from whether it's a civet cat or a bat or a mink or whatever to a human. They've never been able to find that.
What was the connection with pangolins? Why did they think it was...
So the virus is 96% bat, it looks like, very, very similar. And then near the most important part of it, the part of it that binds to this receptor on your cells that enables it to get in, it's called the receptor binding domain.
I don't think they're related. Okay. So it's like,
so it just happens.
They're not. Pangolins are
it's
like
a perfect cut
to platypuses and
of
stuff like
mostly this virus that we know was in this lab, this bat virus, with the pangolin virus, with a tiny addition that enables,
those are the two things they eat on that.
It enables the spike to attach more efficiently. Okay, it's called the furin cleavage, and again, we're at sort of the limits of my knowledge, so I don't want to talk too specifically about it. But somehow this virus just happens to be mostly bat, a little bit pangolin, and we can't find any evidence of a virus that's like that to a 99 percentile in the wild. And believe me, don't you think the Chinese have looked in the last year? Or wouldn't they have looked if they thought they could find something? When SARS came, the original SARS, not SARS-CoV-2, they had found the viral host within a matter of months. I mean, the zoonotic one, the animal viral host, in a matter of months. And they published a paper on it. There's been nothing. Now, you can choose to believe that's because, you know what, it's just in some cave in China that they haven't found the real thing yet. Or you can choose to question, as you said, there's this level 4 BSL lab in Wuhan where this thing happens to seemingly have emerged from. Coincidence.
Crazy coincidence.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, if you talk about it, you're a Trump supporter. Catch new episodes of The Joe Rogan Experience for free, only on Spotify. Watch back catalog JRE videos on Spotify, including clips. Easily, seamlessly switch between video and audio experience. On Spotify, you can listen to the JRE in the background while using other apps and can download episodes, save on data costs, all for free. Spotify is absolutely free. You don't have to have a premium account to watch the JRE episodes. You just need to search for the JRE on...
Yeah, here it goes. To understand that, Dombe said, you have to go back 20 months. It was around then that a Chinese scientist named Li Chen defected to the United States, carrying a diskette record of China's most important and dangerous new biological weapon in a decade. They called the stuff Wuhan 400 because it was developed at their rDNA labs outside of the city of Wuhan, and it was the 400th viable strand of the man-made microorganisms created at the research center. Wuhan 400 is a perfect weapon. It afflicts only human beings. No other living creatures can carry it. And like syphilis, Wuhan can't survive outside of the living human body for longer than a minute, which means it can't permanently contaminate objects or entire places the way anthrax and other virulent microorganisms can. And when the host expires, the Wuhan 400 within him perishes a short while later as soon as the temperature of the corpse drops below 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And this book was written in fucking the 80s.
Well, I just needed those Donald Trump don't get killed like the Simpsons say. It's crazy people have been predicting some shit like this. There's so many movies and books about this shit that it's like
copyright 1981. But yeah, and then I just watched a older movie called Contagion. It's not that old, but like I didn't.
Contagion. You got Containment.
And that shit is like spot on. Like, and I don't know.
And just like how easy was it for them to put that barrier up?
Yep. Like on some real shit. If they want to block motherfuckers and keep motherfuckers inside the city limits of anywhere, yo, that shit won't overnight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Over fucking night, yo. But you can't swim. You ain't got no boat. How you gonna get across the river?
Exactly. And that's the one thing, like, it's good being near water, and it's bad, too. Good and bad.
The Warriors are fucking a barrier itself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we was running an errand, and it was just like, we were just on some normal shit. We went to go bust a turn, and it was like, what the fuck? Yo, they had the whole bridge, like, this shit wasn't blocked off, this shit was sealed off, yo. Like, yo, it was a legit fucking wall. Like, I don't know, I can't really explain it. Like, it was a whole wall sealed the fuck off. It wasn't just like buried. There was no way you can walk around it or climb over it. Well, you could climb over it, but you need ropes and shit. That shit was tall as fuck. Like, you just ain't getting around that shit. It was a wall. Like a whole fucking wall, yo. That shit, I don't know.
That shit made me think. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they can do this shit whenever.
Yeah, and that's I was like immediately like, yo, Google it.
I mean,
see what the fuck that shit.
I mean, I know we're not in martial law, but like, it almost feels like we're there. You know what I mean? Like, everything's starting to close. It's gonna be don't leave your house. They're already putting the shit up in Pennsylvania where don't leave the state. And if you're traveling from a different state, you
gotta
need
quarantine,
or you have to have papers.
Yeah, we seen that shit on the highway coming back into PA. There's like, yo, visitors from other states quarantine yourselves, and it's right on the fucking highway sign, yo. And I bet they be checking like for tags too, like if you got out of state tags.
Yep, somebody be on my best behavior.
Motherfuckers probably tracking y'all and shit. But yeah, this is some weird ass times, yo. They keep saying a new normal, but this shit ain't never gonna feel normal, yo. All this mask wearing and
Oh yeah, and everybody thought this shit was gonna be done going into 2021. I was like, no way.
No, this shit about to ramp the fuck up.
That was just a test run. Trying to get us prepared.
Cause some states even had their curfews come back, yo. Had like 10 o'clock curfews.
They tried that shit in Baltimore. They was not having that shit. Motherfuckers were still outside.
And then that's the crazy shit what small businesses are talking about. Like, I can't have my restaurant open, but Walmart's still open. And Sam's Club is still open. And, you know, and it's like, but I can't have my gym open or my hair salon open.
It's so crazy.
But y'all motherfuckers can have the whole Walmart still stay open.
And fast food stays open.
Fast food is open. You know what I'm saying? The big corporations keep their shit open while little companies can't keep their shit open, yo.
Now, granted, you have to be able to take the extra steps to keep yourself safe according to the law if you want to be in business, but it doesn't make any sense. There's way more people in Walmart. And then it's like, well, what about the people that work in the warehouses and everything? Like, there's just no way to absolutely prevent this thing unless everybody just stays home for 14 days. And it will never happen. Nobody's going to stay in the house for 14 days straight and not come out.
The baby interrogated by Miami robbery detectives.
I'm hungry. I don't have any eggs.
Trying to find something interesting to listen to. I already been here for an hour, guys. I need to get these brushes wet.
Step 1, fire up the BetMGM Sportsbook. Step 2, go with your gut.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Dude, I remember when you lost your job at Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the parking lot of John Jocks. And this is like, what year was that?
That had been, you know what? It had been 98.
Yeah.
98, because I had a house. I just bought a townhome in Valencia.
Yeah, and we were talking. You're like, fuck, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking, but just.
Yo, Joe Rogan be having the best guests on this show.
I remember that conversation, man. And then I remember, like, years later, you're balling out of control in your arts and galleries. And I had a friend, and I went over his house, and he had one of your fucking paintings above his kitchen table. I was like, holy shit, that's Todd White's painting.
Yeah.
He's like, you know that guy? I go, I do jujitsu with him. I'm like, wow. He goes, yeah, he's really talented. Really good. It was like one of those cocktail party paintings. I remember today, rather, that Shore, the restaurant out here.
Yeah.
I go in, has no idea. I just go in. Me and my wife are on date night. We walk in, and I'm like, this fucking Todd White's paintings are everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you.
Your style is so distinctive. I can see your like either someone's ripping you off or it's you. So like when I walked in there, I'm like, I'm 99% sure this is Todd White or some Todd White copier.
It's so, I had 13 years in animation. I came out of high school. I got a job at Warner Brothers as a production assistant on the first season of Tiny Toons. But what I did is I looked at every super talented artists, every draftsman, and I would ask questions, and I was drawing every day. I had no social life, and they would give me such great advice. So I looked at it, that's my college, because I didn't go to school. My mom was a painter, so I grew up in a painting household. Her mom was as well. And I just looked at it as I want to educate myself through, the hard work and the grind. And before I knew it, I was just around some of the most talented artists in the industry, and they were showing me techniques and the way to put life into character, and a way to give a drawing life, which is the hardest thing, by the way. I look at a lot of paintings, and they may be technically great, but there's no life. They're dead looking. The eyes are dead. It's a dead looking painting. And so I learned through super talented artists to teach me how to put that kind of personality and life into the drawing, and then translate that into the painting. And I was always obsessed with the Rat Pack and Sinatra and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. And I had VHS tapes of them at the Summit and everything. And I used to watch them all the time and try to.
They looked like they were having so much fun.
God, men were men and women were dames, and they had the drinks and the cigarettes, and they were blowing smoke in each other's face, and they weren't worried about masks. It was just an amazing time. And
women were dames.
I loved it.
Dames is such a great word.
And so I just I wanted to capture that in painting, and I wanted to kind of bring some of that timelessness back. And I was really good with marker work, marker color comps in animation, because then I quickly after that I became a character designer, and so I spent the next 10 years in animation designing characters for shows, and I ended on SpongeBob, and that was like Steve Hillenburg. A lot of my friends from a previous show said, hey, we're going over to Nickelodeon. They got this new show. They're working on, it's a pilot, SpongeBob, and they need a character guy. And I met with Steven, and he said, he gave me marine biology books. He's like, here, make these characters. And I went home.
A marine biology book?
Yeah, he's a marine biologist.
Really?
He went to Cal Arts. He wasn't the best draftsman, but he had good ideas. And he was a really cool dude and a surfer. And
so why marine biology? Was he just
because it was all about underwater?
Show?
I don't know if you've ever seen the show.
Well, I've seen it a few times with my kids. I never really paid attention.
Yeah, it's just like
I didn't know it was underwater.
Yeah, it's all fish life.
Bubble Guppies is underwater.
I don't know what that is. I actually can't stand
you don't watch that with your kids?
I don't. The kids have so many shows going on, and they're all so horrible to watch, so I don't stare at any of them.
Yeah, Bubble Guppies was my daughter's favorite show for 2 years.
Yeah.
Your style, go to his website and pull some of the images of it. Are they all like this? Like do you do other kinds of styles, or is it most of your work like cocktail party?
I view my work as it's all personality and relatable. So in my mind, I'm not painting art for your furniture or your living room. I'm not painting something you want to put in your living room. I'm painting something that you identify with. And I think a lot of people.
What do you mean by that? Like if it's not for the living room, like where is it if you identify with it?
Yeah, it's wherever you identify. Where you identify. See yourself in it. You see yourself. You see your boys. Weekend at Vegas, that time you had the greatest time ever. The women had girls' night out, and they see their new stuff.
But it's also like
can you go on Instagram at all? No. That's gonna have my newest stuff.
Cartoonish. Oh, okay.
I hate that word.
What?
Cartoonish.
Cartoonish?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's a good word?
Charactered.
But no one's gonna know what you're saying.
I know. So there you go. There's some new stuff right there. That's like the foxes and so I always want to represent someone's life. I want them to see their life in it. I want them to see their personality in there.
Can I go back to that picture again? the
chasing foxes.
The blonde, from the left hand side, the third one, she looks like a bitch.
Oh, good. Because in a group of four,
she looks like the mean one.
In a group of four, that's what you're going to have.
Fuck him.
See, everyone has their own attitude. Everyone has their own attitude. Everyone has their own personality.
Like out of those three,
you know why? She gets everything she wants.
The girl on the far left, the one in the white, that's my kind of girl.
There you go.
She's smiling. Soft. She seems like she's happy.
She's soft.
That one, you got to work for that one that's holding that wine glass too low. She's just too much work.
Why do we like? I like the thrill of, not the thrill of the kill.
No, I like nice people. I get my thrills in other.
I want them to see the personality in there.
Can I go back to that picture again? the
chasing foxes.
The blonde, from the left hand side, the third one, she looks like a bitch.
Oh, good. Because in a group of four,
she looks like the mean one.
In a group of four, that's what you're going to have.
Fuck him.
See, everyone has their own attitude. Everyone has their own attitude. Everyone has their own personality.
Like out of those three,
You know why? She gets everything she
I like
wants.
the girl on
doesn't
the
she?
far left, the one in the white. That's my kind of girl.
There you go.
She's
She's
smiling.
soft.
She seems like she's happy.
She's soft.
That one, you got to work for that one that's holding that wine glass too low. She's just too much work.
What do we like? We like the thrill, not the thrill of the kill.
No, I like nice people. I get my thrills in other places. I don't want them in relationships. A lot of people they look for conflict in relationships. I just look for nice people, man. I like white.
I like that.
Yeah, got lucky. I did too. I like the one in the white. That's my kind of girl. But that one with the low wine glass, I tell my friends, bro, please don't bring her over the house.
Sugar Shack.
Since those three, I have no problem with any of those girls.
They're fun. Those are fun.
But I think the one that James got the cursor over, she's going to be the most problems. She's going to overdose at your house. She's going to
see, what are we doing? We're having conversations about stupid art, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, art should be a conversation piece.
The one on the far right, she's going to fuck your friends.
My friends, my clients.
She's going to text your friend, can you help me move? And then she's going to fuck all your friends.
Yeah, so it should be a conversation piece. You should have it in an area where friends come over and they go, what's going on here? And it represents you. It represents your personality. They say, well, this is how we love our life.
But I know you got to a point where you were like really in demand. Like I remember I was talking to Eddie about it, and he was like, God, Todd is so busy. Like he's like constantly working. Does it ever get to a point where it seemed like labor or like that was a Dove Hendrix shirt, son? What you got there? Hidden by your gay bandana.
I'm sorry.
It's not
the
gay.
COVID.
It's more like ranchers.
Gay band. There you go. One in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was gay with a sequence in it or something. I like that. That's a dope shirt. Really? One of the coolest shows I ever did. I had the greatest fans of any artist. They're awesome people, and they show up in droves. We were doing a show one time, and this client in England came up and he goes, and I said, dude, that's the greatest jacket I've ever seen.
Had a lot of dope.
You like it? I go, yeah. He goes, it's yours. And I go, I'm not gonna take your jacket. In my mind, I go, I'm taking his jacket. He goes, no man, try it on. If it fits you, it's yours. I thought, that's fair.
Like I said,
try it
a
on.
lot of dope shit in there.
Fit perfect.
He goes, fix it. He goes, it's yours. I go, oh, thank you. And the cool thing is, about 10 years later, I was in Toronto doing a show, and a kid came up, an artist, and he showed me his work briefly, which I find a bit hard to look at people's work in the middle of my show. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome, dude. And he goes, that's a great jacket. And I go, he was about my size. I go, hey, see if this fits you. And it fit him. And I go, it's yours.
Wow.
And he was like over the moon. He goes, I can't believe it. And then other people were like, dude, I just bought a fucking $60,000 painting. You gave him a jacket? And he's like, hey, come on, man.
You just got to go with the
flow. Pay forward.
You got to go with the flow. How much? Catch new episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience.
What, fucking $60,000 painting? You gave him a jacket? He's like, hey, come on, man. And then other people were like, dude, I just bought a fucking $60,000 painting. Gave him a jacket? He's like, hey, come on, man.
You just got to go with the
flow. Pay forward.
You got to go with the flow. Catch new episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience for free, only on Spotify. Watch back catalog JRE videos on Spotify, including clips. Easily, seamlessly switch between video and audio experience. On Spotify, you can listen to the JRE in the background while using other apps and can download episodes to save on data costs, all for free. Spotify is absolutely free. You don't have to have a premium account to watch new JRE episodes. You just need to search for the JRE on your Spotify app. Go to Spotify now to get this full episode of the Joe Rogan Experience.
How much you pay for that? Oh, cool, $60.
Hello? Can anybody hear me?
Dangerous.
Who do you like to listen to? Who you think is a good speaker? And then do Joe Rogan and that person's name and see if they've ever been on Joe Rogan.
You know my favorite with his cocky ass. I know they ain't do nothing together. But I'm gonna look it up.
Oh yeah, is he? I don't know if he's big enough to be on Joe Rogan.
Young Pharaoh. I know he didn't do anything with Amos. I know he didn't do anything with Claude. So it's like, you know what I mean? I seen the one he did with Elon Musk. We saw the one with Dave Chappelle.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
When Dave asked him about the vaccines, like, yo, you gonna take that shit?
Well, maybe I can do Young Pharaoh on somebody. Let's see. Joe Rogan, Graham Hancock, and Randall Carlson. I don't know. Simpsons predictions, what could still come true during the election. Young Pharaoh meets Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That might be a good one.
This is 4 years old.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
It's only 2 minutes long.
Yeah, I wonder what.
Because when it comes to the construction of pyramids, I can prove that not only was extraterrestrials involved, we were involved too, and giants were involved.
Prove that.
You're an alien guy. You know what happens is people don't believe that ancient humans had any intellect at all. And they say, oh, they couldn't have built this. It must have been by aliens.
Wow. I've never heard this. This dude just said he can prove aliens and giants had a hand in the construction of the pyramids. Whoa. And that's where I like.
This is 4 years old.
I get it. And then people views and opinions and understanding and knowledge can grow and change over the years.
Like
but
over the last 2 years, Pharaoh really has come into himself, and he's still a very young man. Like he's only. I don't think Pharaoh's even 30 yet.
Yeah, but I've never even. The only thing is you can just say I don't know or I believe, but don't say you can prove because there is no real hard proof
and see, I've
for
learned to start
aliens
saying,
and
I want to believe.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to tell people. Like, I want to believe this. This is what I want to believe, but I have no facts, so I can't say for sure that I actually believe it.
Even one guy that I listen to a lot, and he's an older white dude, and he has literally traveled to every location he talks about. He's been to every pyramid, damn near every pyramid structure on every continent, every megalithic structure, and he records and analyzes these things. Most like major museums that house artifacts from antiquity, and he has always said there is a lost civilization. There is something lost. But now,
and the thing is like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not saying I don't trust him, but I'm not saying I do trust him either. Who is he?
Yeah.
Who is anybody?
But now this guy is saying that he believes some of the hypotheses about, ancient aliens, where did this understanding, this knowledge really come from? And he doesn't say there's proof, there's absolute facts or this and that, but he says, it's something, it's a new hypothesis that he's actually looked into deeper over the past few years, since he can't explain these technologies any other way. Right. And so saying that you believe something, and this guy, like I said, he's been there. He's done the hard research and measurements and all this shit, the documentation. And but he still hasn't said, oh, I can prove this. I can prove this. Because that shit is hard to do, yeah. It is super hard to do. And if anybody was able to prove aliens and giants had anything to do with the construction of the pyramids, it would be Nobel Prize worthy, textbook altering information, and it would have been done already. So, and that's the main thing. Like, that's what Matt Dillahunty always says. Oh, if you can prove God, okay, where's your Nobel Prize at? Why haven't you, won some type of, acclaim award for proving this to, to the scientific community?
Give our freaking species some credit for figuring stuff out.
Okay, well, that's what I want to ask you, because.
And that's the one. I'm gonna just say one more thing too. That's the one thing that after I read Zecharia Sitchin's 2 books, well, he has like 4 or 5. I read 2 of his books, Genesis Revisited and the 12th Planet, and then I read the Bible, and then continued to read about ancient Egypt. Our histories from Chancellor Williams, and that's the only thing that like I want to believe in ancient aliens, and that they're the progenitors of our species, and that's why we're so beautiful and so intelligent. But at the same time, if you take the ancient alien theory wholeheartedly, that means that you deny the original man from having the intelligence and the fortitude and understanding to create these structures ourselves, saying that mankind could not do that, when we know that the black African is the modern human. We started the species known as Homo erectus, yo. So the further you go back, the darker everybody gets. The further you go back in time into antiquity, to all these megalithic structures that are aligned with the constellations, and it keeps getting pushed further back and back in time. Göbekli Tepe is 12,000 years old, and when you go this far back in time, there's only dark-skinned people around. There's only dark-skinned people around. And so they want to deny that the original modern humans, these dark-skinned people, created civilization themselves. The black Africans were able to construct all these beautiful edifices and everything with their own creativity, ingenuity, and willpower. You take all that away and say, oh, aliens did it. The aliens did that. Or, aliens taught them how to do it. Oh, the angels came down and gave them the orders for construction and how to use building materials and how to quarry and cut and move stone, because they couldn't figure that shit out themselves. Aliens had to help them do that. Like, nah, I don't believe that shit. I think the true creators of civilization are black Africans, and we had the first mathematics for everything. And like I say, the further you go back in time, the darker everybody gets, yo. And they want to take that shit away from us and say aliens did it.
The other day I was watching this thing about pyramids, and people really believe that the technology to build pyramids wasn't of this earth, because at the time the pyramids were being made.
So it was Europeans coming to Africa, seeing an amazing civilization that they could not imagine an African build, and they must then invoke some other cause that enabled them to build it. Excuse me, clever people come in all colors, all right? Okay. So just because you can't figure out how somebody built a pyramid doesn't mean the people who built the pyramid got help from aliens. That's all I'm saying. So just admit that you're not as smart as the people who built the aliens and end the conversation there.
A little bit more on, I don't know if you ever heard the white author, Eric, I think his name is Eric Van Dinken. He wrote this little book called Chariots of the Gods some years ago, and he attributed the pyramids to some beings from outer space. Now, we fought him on that naturally, because we said, here they go again. Rather than give the black man and woman credit, this cracker would rather say that it came from some beings from outer space. The name of the book is called Chariots of the Gods, and the author's name is Eric Van Dinken. What is your thoughts?
Eric Von Daniken wrote Chariots of the Gods. And his main thing, he just asked a lot of questions too in there. Like, his main premises was like, how did this happen? How did this happen? How did that happen? How did this happen? You know, and he really does allude to like fucking aliens and the Anunnaki and all that shit. But still, yo, I don't have a copy of Chariots of the Gods, but I've read some of it. One of my homies had a copy of that shit, but I didn't finish it before he wanted it back. Like, I was gonna try to keep that shit or something.
So this is so weird, because then when I type in Young Pharaoh
and Neil,
nothing comes up.
Wow. Then how did you get that one? What?
I typed in Joe Rogan.
Wait, how is that tied to Joe Rogan? And then you type it in itself.
I typed in Joe Rogan and Young Pharaoh, and then when I type in this, it just brings up their stuff separate. Like, there's a video from Neil on God. The origin of the universe with Neil. So those are short clips that are pretty cool, but it's not exactly what I was
Young Pharaoh explains.
And see, here goes the same video we were just watching, but it's just that. That's the only one.
Well, what else was in that playlist? The first playlist where we got that clip from. So if you click on
it, wasn't
no
playlist, babe. I just typed in Young Pharaoh.
That's what I'm saying. When you type that in, a whole list of things come up. So what else was in that list?
Young Pharaoh's being watched by the elites. That's interesting. I kind of want to watch that.
Who is that? But that's not.
I've watched him before. Frontline Good Brother. I don't know. I've only watched him once. That's why it probably popped up, because I've watched it on your laptop.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Sorry, it's been a couple days. Just been trying to get mine right, you know. get more into my spirit and whatnot. But this video I wanna invest, and I wanna really make this video about this good brother Young Pharaoh. Who's getting attacked. He's been getting attacked for a long time. You know, and why he's putting up videos. I guess he's trying to raise awareness to what the YouTube corporation, the big guys are doing to him and taking down and removing his videos and whatnot. So my first thing is I'm gonna just start off with, we know we're dealing with, for one, a corporation, and they have their own tactics and shit how they deal with you also. The content that Pharaoh's talking about is very sensitive. Mind you, he's cussing.
I honestly don't really want to listen to that. So.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, people. We're
kind
of doing the same thing, but like using Pharaoh as just get views for his channel.
But that's the thing. That's what I was saying. Like, we talk about different shit. That's the thing. Like, we report news, and I guess he is doing the same thing. But I guess it's just all about how you go about it. Like, you're not a monetized channel. He is. He's trying to make money off his shit. He is saying some real shit. I'm not mad at him. I just don't want to listen to him say what we already know because we watch Pharaoh. You want to watch this Hillary Clinton addresses the pizza game?
You DJ right now. Do it. Let's go. That's some crazy shit. Like, how much are you going to say about it, Hillary?
This was 3 years ago.
Oh, hell.
I cannot believe the game is all the way for free right now. You get 4 awesome flavors. Raise is seriously one of my sour gummy worms.
Drink, it reminds me of that show where the dude's like, got your energy drinks. He got the bags of Coke.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most powerful, clearest, most persuasive chapters in book is the one about bots and trolls and Russians and fake news. And you begin that section of the book. I know one of your favorite books is Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky, and you have a line from Dostoevsky that begins this section of the book: "When reason fails, the devil helps." And then, of course, you do talk about trolls, bots, fake news, conspiracy theories, and my favorite term, from Russia with no love. But in all seriousness, this is an incredibly clear connecting of dots based on what evidence is now available. Presumably there will be more coming out, but anyway, thank you for that, because it's really essential that everybody read that. I've never had a chance to thank you for something publicly that I would like to thank you for now. How many of you were in Washington during what is now infamously known as Pizzagate? And those of you who've been to Politics and Prose on Connecticut Avenue know that the store is only a few doors down from Comet Ping Pong. And you, of course, were onto this stuff because of what was going on in the campaign before a lot of us realized the extent of it. But read that. I've never had a chance to thank you for something publicly that I would like to thank you for now. How many of you were in Washington during what is now infamously known as Pizzagate? And those of you who've been to Politics and Prose on Connecticut Avenue know that the store is only a few doors down from Comet Ping Pong. And you, of course, were onto this stuff because of what was going on in the campaign before a lot of us realized the extent of it. And you and I spoke shortly after the election, and you knew that Comet was being targeted, that Politics and Prose and some of the other businesses were being targeted, and you actually said you were willing to speak out about it, for which we were grateful. At the time, everybody thought that we needed to all kind of lie low for a bit. The day that the gunman with the assault weapon walked into Comet on a Sunday afternoon, December 4th, about an hour after that, you and I communicated, and I told you what.
Sidebar, I forgot to tell y'all that Comet is this pizza place in D.C., and the guy who owns it is the guy James Alefantes, who they claim is an illegitimate child of one of the Rothschilds or whatever. And he's in the top 50 richest people in the DMV, and he only owns a little pizza place. So there's this whole scandal because he was posting all this like inappropriate shit on his social media pages and shit about pizza loving and like gay shit and shit with kids, and there was all this shit going around, and he was locking people up in the basements and the cellars, and there definitely is a basement and like all the rich and famous people just hire him for their pizza parties. And it's just coincidental, just like how Wayfair was selling a damn cabinet for $10,000 called the Yuritsa, and all the names were girls that were missing. So this guy decides he wants to be a vigilante, and he goes in there with a gun and tries to shoot the shit up. I forgot all about that gunman went up in there. And this shit was in D.C.
Going on, you responded instantly and we were so supportive, which was incredibly helpful. We were all on lockdown on the entire block with police running up and down the streets. And then, and people don't know this, a few days after that, you and your husband said, what can we do to support Comet? Can we buy pizzas? And you bought, I don't know how many pizzas, but it was a lot of pizzas, and sent them to a literacy program, an after-school literacy program in D.C., which was never publicized. And you checked in on me a lot because we weren't dealing with it in the same way Comet Ping Pong was, but we were also, getting trolled in the whole 9 yards and harassment calls. I just can't tell you how important it was for me, for Brad, for our entire staff, for our entire block, for the people at Comet, to know that you and President Clinton were there for us. Quietly, and nobody knows. So I've never had a chance to thank you publicly, and I did want to do that. So, thank you.
If I could just say a word, because we're in Washington, and this horrible chain of events happened here, but this is a terrible example of what can be done by people who are malicious, unacquainted with the truth, and pursuing their own agendas, whether it be commercial advantage, partisan advantage, or any other goal. For those of you who don't follow it or may not remember it, when John Podesta's emails were stolen, I hate the word hacked, they were stolen. They were stolen by the Russians.
John Podesta, the fucking president.
And they were then, through cutouts, given to WikiLeaks, which is nothing more than a tool of Putin and the Kremlin.
Ooh, you know what y'all do all the time.
And certainly people associated with Trump knew about it, because in August, Roger Stone was tweeting about how John Podesta would...
Can I just pause this, though? Why are you putting John Podesta on a fucking pedestal? And he's already been publicly, people know he's a predator. People have come out over and over and over and over again. Not to mention the fact Chris Cornell and the other dude that died, Chester, that was his name. And Chester looked just like the Podesta brother. There's a John, and I think there's a Tony. And I think Tony is the fat one, and John's the skinny one. I can never keep up with them. But they both, even back in the day when they got fired from Hollywood years ago, sneaking them motherfuckers in the back, and they were still making all the Disney movies and all the kids movies and all that shit. They made a lot of the kids movies. So it's like, why the fuck you sitting here putting this man on a pedestal? Who cares if they hacked his emails, regardless of whether he was a Democrat or not? Even if I'm a Democrat, if somebody is a bad Democrat, why would I want them on my squad? Right? Thanks. Right? He's like that's like being like, oh yeah, somebody hacked into Jeffrey's emails. So good job. Good fucking job. They found a damn child molester. What's wrong with that? And what that got to do with this pizza shit?
Himself,
and that's how they be telling
the barrel some point ahead. So on October 7th, one of the more infamous days in the campaign, the day started with the Director of Homeland Security, the Secretary, Jay Johnson, the Director of National Intelligence, Jim Clapper, saying that with high confidence they knew the Russians had been behind those hacks, those thefts of emails. That happened in the morning. Then the Hollywood Access tape broke a few hours later, and within 1 hour, such an amazing coincidence, WikiLeaks dumped all of John Podesta's personal emails. Now, if you read those emails, I think it's a little embarrassing to admit they're very anodyne, even boring. But because they were, the way that the Russians and their allies, whoever they turn out to be, were able to generate constant interest. Really was two factors. One, they sent the press on these wild goose chases all over the place. Oh, here comes 100 more. Here comes 1,000 more. Oh my gosh. And then, of course,
Okay, so I think I basically heard what I need to hear. An incident happened, and she went on TV. She donated some pizzas and gave business to the same place that people were just accusing of being a bad place. A person who's also involved with the Podestas, who are known predators. Let's just say that. But yeah, she donated some pizza to some underprivileged kids in the city of DC. So we're gonna give her a pass because she donated some pizzas to an after-school program. She's rich, and she just did such a great thing for the community by supporting the same person, richest people in the DMV. But like, I don't know any other pizza people who have been on a fucking magazine just for making pizza. Like, he's not a Gordon Ramsay or a Guy Ferrari, whatever his name is. So it's like, I don't really get it. But basically, okay, you donated some pizzas, and the Russians had some email of a predator, and Trump had something to do with it. So because Trump did it, it's okay that John Podesta is, getting off the hook because Trump did some shit he wasn't supposed to do. And y'all messed with my friend. Oh, but I donated some pizzas, though. Like, bitch. I don't understand how people don't see this shit. Like, motherfuckers be so good at just smooth talking. They just talk right over it. Yes, I released a book. I donated some pizzas. And these people just want to mess up our lives and just make the Democrats look bad.
Not hacked. Stole. They stole.
They stole his emails and they put it on WikiLeaks, and it showed the world that he's a predator. They're bad people. Jesus Christ, like, that shit, man,
that was before that Epstein shit came out, and she know, like...
And that's what I'm saying, and that's what makes it look even worse, because this shit was in 2017, so it's just like, bitch, you just made yourself look so bad. So bad.
Oh, my husband fucked with all these fucking pedophiles. We're gonna get caught. We gotta smooth this shit over.
Everybody who comes to court against me ends up dying from suicide or being hung from a doorknob.
Or some weird ass car accident.
Yeah, with their brakes being fucked up. Yeah. Just a coinky. Let's see. Candace Owens stuns Cornel West with her stupidity. I hate Candace Owens' dumbass stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to watch her?
Yeah, that Cornel West he's alright,
He's what?
He's alright.
I mean, it's a 10-minute video, so...
I don't agree with him all the time, but he's not a bad. I mean, he's an old head too, so.
Ooh, Candace Owens, the Tommy Lauren, the two people I hate the most. I gotta hear this.
What the hell they arguing about?
Yo, they should be on the same squad. Two bimbos. But see, the difference is Candace thinks she's white, and she's really not, and Tommy hates black. Wow.
Young Turks Home of Progressives, because we fight for you guys.
This will be the highlight of
Come
my
help
day.
build that home. Support independent media by becoming a TYT member. Just click the link in the description box below.
There is the Young Turks TYT.
Yeah. And let me just say this. This goes to show you that dumb comes in every motherfucking race and color.
The Young Turks, I used to listen to them a lot too. They're pretty good.
Yeah, he looks like a cool dude, this guy right here.
A bunch of drums going on the right side of the aisle when it comes to like media influencer types. Tommy Lauren and Candace Owens are in a big fight. It all started back when Candace Owens last week kind of announced that Kanye West may have, well, at first she said he absolutely did design the logo. We talked about it on the show for the Blexit movement, trying to get Black Americans to exit the Democratic Party and everything. And then shortly after that, Kanye West said, my eyes are now wide open, and now I realize I've been used to spread messages I don't believe in. I am distancing myself from politics. And he was gone. And in the wake of that, Tommy Lauren could see no other recourse than to spike the football and say, are you going to turn on Kanye now? The ship was doomed to sink from the start, but hunger for fame and money was placed over the movement. Funny how he was a free thinker before, and now he's a traitor. Sounds like a tactic of the left. You made your bed, now lie in it. She has every right, in my opinion, she has every right to go after Candace Owens because she had previously said on one of her little final thoughts, how could it be called final thoughts when you have one every single week? Conservatives, Trump supporters, and free thinkers, please do not attach yourself to Kanye West. It will backfire. Mark my words, it will backfire. She said this on May 2nd. And she was right. She spiked the football. What do you think?
Okay, I think a couple of things. First off, she is right. She was right because Kanye was clearly off his meds, and she deduced perhaps that once he goes back on his vacation, he will regain sanity and realize that they're all monsters, both Candace Owens and Tommy Lauren. She's like, you think someone who is of right mind, who is an African American, is going to support us? No, we pay you to support us, not him. Okay, so that's not going to work. Let's keep it real. Part of this was, oh my God, Candace is my shine. I want it back. So I gotta throw some shade over in that direction. How did she get Kanye? Oh God, it would have been great if Kanye was mine. Right? Keep it real. That's 90% of it.
She thought Charlamagne the God was going to be the way for her. And there was a cupcake later. It was out of there. But you know what's funny? Just I always like the graphics here, but this time I did agree. I think it should have been like conservative Bring It On, because it's like Gabrielle Union and the other cheerleaders, even though Gabrielle Union would never want to be associated with the rhetoric of Candace Owens. But it's just so funny that they have these fights in public. You know what I mean? Like, it just lets you know. I remember when I was at Politicon and Tommy Lauren was on stage and Scotty Hughes was sitting behind me and JR, and she was just set with Tom Lauren was answering the questions, and I was like, aren't y'all on the same side? You know, like
she was mouthing the words and like her response in the back.
Yeah, but it's just like this disdain, and it's so tacky, guys. Where's your civility? Like, ladies.
That's just the beginning. Candace went back at her and said, Tommy, comma. I think I can speak on behalf of people on both sides of the political aisle and say we are sorry about your failed career. The desperation to be, I feel like that deserved like the desperation to be relevant again by constantly subbing me and or attacking Kathy Griffin weekly doesn't bode well for any movement. Grow up. I'm sure Kathy Griffin said, I'm glad to be a part of this. More of a, all right, ladies.
Yeah. So look, so on the left, there are real policy disagreements. So we do not agree with the corporate Democrats. We just don't. We want Medicare for all. They want weak sauce, right? And on and on. And there's a huge list of things we have substantive disagreements on. You want to fight on that? That makes sense. You want to unify against Republicans? That makes sense, right? This is just personal. No, I'm more famous. No, I'm more famous. I can't believe you got Kanye. Oh, yeah, your career sucks, right? What, you guys have any policy disagreements? Is there a reason why you're fighting? Mm-hmm. No, it's all about who's going to be more famous and get more cash.
And who's going to save the black people if you guys are having this fight? So insulting to people of color.
They went back and forth. There's many more tweets if you're interested. Someone said, Candace, chill. And her response was, I actually have chilled for a year straight by not releasing any nasty messages she sent about me that would have ended her non-career long ago. But today, I'm not chilling in the chill mood, so unless she wants to get burned, she'll stop subbing me immediately. Then Tommy came back. I'm talking about leftist tactics, conservative ideas, and failure of identity politics. You are talking about me. If you're trying to bait me into some Twitter war, it's not going to work. By the way, Tommy, you are in a Twitter war. It's not about us. You can threaten me or lob low blows about my career, but I'm not playing.
No, you are. You're literally playing right now. Like, it reminds me of when we were in West Virginia, me and Dave Kohler, who works here, and he's trying to find a holler. I'm like, Dave, you know, I think this is one. And then he's like, no. And he asked a guy literally in overalls. Okay, and the guy goes, sir, where might I find a holler? And the guy looks at him and goes, son, You're in a holler. So, Tommy, you're in the middle of a Twitter war. I don't know if you know that. That's why we're doing the story, because it's fun, because you guys are yelling at each other for no reason other than the fact that you can't stand that one might be more famous than the other. But in reality, I mean, it's a low bar, right? You're damning with faint praise if you think one is higher than the other.
Be careful who you subtweet. Be very careful who you subtweet.
Thanks for watching this free clip of Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.
Over the weekend, Donald Trump unexpectedly signed the $900 billion coronavirus relief bill, and that was less than 48 hours before certain relief programs were set to expire. But Trump still waited too long because unemployment benefits did lapse, which means that some individuals who rely on unemployment might have to wait an additional week in order to get the newly appropriated funds for the unemployment program. Now, what's interesting here is he had some pretty strong statements in regard to how he demanded that Congress take out appropriations for various parts of the spending bill, which of course was attached to this coronavirus relief bill. And that included various foreign aid programs and things like that. And he also demanded that Congress provide more funding in regard to direct checks to Americans. He wanted $2,000. Well, he didn't get any of that. He got none of that. But he was somehow convinced to sign the legislation into law. And so what happened behind the scenes? Well, we found out through Axios that the deal was closed on a Sunday afternoon phone call with Trump, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. This is good, Trump finally said. An official familiar with the call told me I should sign this. Now, again, this is according to Mike Allen over at Axios. We also learned that Mnuchin and McCarthy, aided by Senator Lindsey Graham, who golfed with Trump in West Palm Beach on Friday, by the way, he's still golfing today, indulged the president's rants, told him there was great stuff in the bill, and gave him wins he could announce, even though they didn't change the bill. So the bill is exactly the same. There is no additional funding for direct checks to American. The unemployment benefits will only last for 11 weeks as opposed to 16 weeks. That was the initial amount of time that was being negotiated during the beginning of these talks. And so Trump did say this in a statement, though. The Senate will start the process for a vote that increases checks $2,000, repeals Section 230, and starts an investigation into voter fraud. Big tech must not get protections of Section 230. Voter fraud must be fixed. Much more money is coming. I will never give up my fight for the American people. Now, let me just note that the House, as we speak right now, is voting on $2,000 checks, not the Senate. The Senate is unlikely to pass that type of legislation. And Section 230 is just, it's all part of this grudge that Trump has against tech companies, social media platforms that have fact-checked a little bit during the election. He wants to do away with any type of liability shield they have in regard to how users post on their platforms. But other than that, the important takeaway here is he got convinced by GOP lawmakers that he needs to sign this bill, that they'll go ahead and do what he wants after he signs the bill. And of course, he's not going to get any of the concessions that he's demanding. Which we'll talk about a little more in a little more detail in just a second. But why don't you jump in?
All right, there are a number of reasons why
Now, when Trump was running his campaign for this term, they were against him, and she's clearly not siding with Trump. Mm-hmm. You can see how she doesn't. It's not like, oh, that's my buddy, but still saying like, yo, he was trying to do something good. And he tricked this motherfucker saying there was changes coming. They didn't change anything. He still had to sign the fucking shit. So, like I said, I like them. They're not trying to be biased or play favorites, but they, like I said, they were going against the Trump campaign when he was running. Like, because I believe they're mostly Democrats on this channel. But at the same time, you can see something good when you see something good, and it's like, oh shit, that COVID package was stupid as fuck. And Trump called it out, and everybody should appreciate him for calling that shit out.
Love this story. Number one is the utter humiliation of Donald Trump, and what a fool he is. I'll get into that in 1 second. Number two is now MAGA has turned on him. Like, how could you do this? I thought we were going to hurt everyone.
See, they do
country.
not like
now
Trump.
You don't even want to hurt them. Now you went along with the other people in Washington. We were going to just crush their souls, and you won't let us do it. We hate you. So he created this alternate reality that somehow he could veto this thing, get to a better result that MAGA would be happy with. And now that alternative reality has turned around and bit him in the ass. I'm going to get into that in a second as well. So in fact, let me just do it now because it's so much fun. Raheem Kassam is apparently some MAGA dude. And he says, this is part of the humiliation that I love. Quote, if you want someone to blame, look no further than congressional Republicans, including Kevin McCarthy and Lindsey Graham, for misrepresenting the facts to the president over this weekend. But wait a minute. Doesn't Trump deserve some degree of credit for not knowing that you can't change a bill after you sign it into law? You need a whole new bill to present to Congress. It has to pass, and then you have to sign it. There's no way in the world that you have time to do that in the 3 weeks that you have left, and they're about to go away for a break in a couple of days. Like these concessions that Trump thinks he got. He's like, oh, they're going to look into the voter fraud. It's terrible. And right after he signed it, the Democrats are like, no, you moron. We're not going to do any of that. Why would we do that, you idiot? And he's like, and MAGA starts to cry. They're like, oh my God, what are you going to do?
Damn, why you going in so hard?
Okay, and so
right,
he doesn't know anything. Yes. Okay, but I got to go back to one other thing. We'll fill in all of the details. But another conservative complained, Will Chamberlain, he says, there is no line item veto. So I don't know why Trump is talking about redlining things. He said, well, I know why, because he's an idiot. 4 years into being president, he doesn't know that you can't redline items as president. You either sign it or you veto it. He doesn't know that if you wanted the $2,000 checks, which we all do want, you're supposed to enter the negotiations earlier instead of sending crazy tweets about the Kraken and not paying attention. And he just has no earthly idea how the government works after 4 years of being the president of the United States. No, you schmuck. McCarthy and Lindsey Graham obviously lied to you because they think you're a baby. They're like, yes, baby Trump, yes, baby. We'll do all those priorities afterwards, Donnie. Of course we will. Oh, we'll pass it right away, Donnie. You think, okay. And then once he signs it, they're like, yeah, schmuck. All right. And they're done with it.
Yeah, I mean, in one of his statements following signing the actual legislation, Trump was quoted as saying, I will sign the omnibus and COVID package with a strong message that makes clear to Congress that wasteful items need to be removed. Let me be clear, those wasteful items will not be removed. There's bipartisan support for those wasteful items. And I think what's made those wasteful items even more, I guess, disgusting in the eyes of Americans is now that it's attached to a coronavirus relief bill, people can really see how congressional lawmakers prioritize things. So at a time of crisis, it really doesn't make sense to spend, tens of millions of dollars toward, military infrastructure for countries like Israel, for instance, right? Maybe we put a hold on that kind of spending to ensure that we help Americans who are falling deeper and deeper into poverty right now. I mean, the $600 checks are definitely an insult. And I just got word right now that the House has voted in favor of increasing the direct checks from $600 to $2,000. So that is a standalone bill that Democrats have voted in favor of. But that means that it's now going to travel to the Senate. And we have some clue as to how Mitch McConnell is going to handle it. Mitch McConnell didn't even want to provide any relief to Americans, especially in the form of direct checks. And so I don't know what motivates Trump, right? I'm not going to try to psychoanalyze him. I don't know why he like flies off the handle. One day decides that he's going to promote something that's actually tremendously popular, tremendously definitely needed. Tremendously needed. He's like rubbing off on me in the way he speaks. But you get what I'm saying, right? But right now, what Democrats have done in the House is actually perfect because they have passed this bill. They do want more funding in the form of direct checks to Americans. And now it's really up to Senate Republicans to do the right thing and provide the aid that Americans across the board, regardless of political ideology, desperately need right now. This could really hurt both Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue in the Senate runoff races in Georgia.
What up?
So.
Okay, so look, I love to mock Trump. Let's keep it real, and because he amply deserves it. And if you're MAGA, you've seen me do that to you too. But I just need folks to focus for a second, right? So how could he not know that you can't redline a bill as a president? That's point one.
Because he's never needed to know anything, Cenk. Like think about how much Trump has been able to skirt by on knowing nothing, on being incompetent. I mean, both in business and also in governance, right? He's been able to just simply hire lawyers, hire people who can find loopholes in laws regarding businesses, and he's able to get by with government. He's had so many enablers surrounding him at all times. And the ability he has to really resonate with Republican voters for carrying him through this entire first term without having to know a damn thing about governing, about our government.
So, I just named it after me. I thought it was.
I just kept doing it.
Well, now we know where the name Running came from.
Running. Thomas Running.
So the demand
invented that shit, yo.
So Mnuchin was part of the negotiations.
It's like that.
And then
where
Trump didn't bother to ask about any of these. There's an outrageous proposal here. Like, Mr. President, this is really embarrassing, but that's her proposal. He's like, no, it's not. And he's just like, Jesus Christ, man, just ask me. I'm the one doing the negotiation, theoretically on your behalf. He doesn't know anything. All of that is proved amply by his bluff. He's like, oh, that's it. I want Section 230. I want $2,000 checks, even though I never asked for it earlier when we were negotiating it, including my representatives. I never asked for it because I'm incredibly lazy and incredibly stupid. But now that it's too late, I'm going to bluff. Everyone can understand this. I'm not going to sign it, okay? I'm not going to sign it unless you give me $2,000 and Section 230 and whatever else I want, right? They're like, yeah, no, you will. And then he's like, okay, fine, I will. But they called bluff so easy. That's why MAGA's so mad right now. You go online, they're like, this is so weak. Why did he do that? What's the strategy? Because, dude, he doesn't have 3-dimensional chess. He doesn't have 4-dimensional chess. He doesn't have 2 or 1-dimensional chess. I guarantee you he could barely play checkers in real life. So he's like, okay, I'm all in. Okay, never mind. I want my money back. I'm so sorry. I fold. And now they're like furious at him for folding. And they're like, what was strategy? Knuckleheads. He never had a strategy the whole time. Doesn't know a thing about government. So he got clowned. And I love it and I'm here for it because on his way out the door, even some of the most hardcore MAGA guys are like, wait, is he an idiot? Yes, finally you get it.
Is he an idiot?
Call the young Trump progressives because
Si, senor.
We're gonna take a break, guys. Grab some breakfast and whatnot. I only used one brush this morning. That's pretty good.
One glasses with the other black people on. We see people running, we gone.
I'm gone.
Not
I
asking
ain't got no questions.
questions.
This nigga hauling that. Stream some video games today, or just do a live stream from down in the living room, chilling or something. But like I said, we gonna run some errands and shit. But we'll be back later on. Peace.